people are faced with hardships in their life. It's what you do with these hardships that shows your true character. You have a choice of either giving up or overcoming adversity. Michael Oher was given this choice in the movie The Blind Side, and he chose for the many hardships in his life to not affect him from being successful. At the beginning of the movie, when Michael was first learning how to play football, Michael's new mom told him to protect his quarterback like he was his family. So later in the film, during one of the football games, the man on the other team is beating him up, mimicking him, and physically tripping him after one of the plays. There are many meaningful moments in the movie The Blind Side, but the one that stood out to me the most was when Michael Oher threw a player over the fence. Then Michael's coach was very angry and yelled at the ref in Michael's defense, which then earned him a flag. The coach was furious at the refs, and Michael had to hold him back. Michael then proceeds to say, "Don't worry, coach, I got your back." The next play, he lines up at the line of scrimmage, ready to block his man, when in the back of his mind, he is thinking about what his coach just did for him. Michael's team then runs the play, and the quarterback hands it off to the running back. Michael blocks his man all the way over the fence behind the end zone, and his team scores a touchdown. Michael then runs back to the huddle where his coach is, and his coach said, "What are you doing?" Michael then proceeds to say, "I was taking him back to the buses where he belonged." This scene is so powerful because from the start of Michael's life to where he is now, no one had been there for him and to support him. But when his coach stood up for him, it meant the world. He wanted to do everything in his power to have his coach's back. Michael has been through so much disappointment in his life. He put all of the anger and sadness bottled up inside of him into this one block and made it the best block he could possibly make it.
In the scene I have, it has Michael picking the college he wants to go to. It also shows all the interviews he has to go to pick the college he wants. It also shows about how he is completing his American dream in school and in his athletics. He really wants to go to college to play football, and he's getting all these offers because that's what he really wants to do. What he does in this scene is he sits there throughout all these interviews trying to see what he wants to do to complete his American dream. This is a big part and step in his life because he came from nothing and now he's getting all these opportunities to play in the higher level. Michael has to go through a lot in his childhood to become who he is today. He was lucky enough to find a family that really loves him and cares about him. That brought him into this whole scenario to where he is able to play football in high school and show his real talent and who he is as a person. His character really shows because it shows how he really cares about the sport and really cares about his future. He puts his soul and heart into all this to show the audience what it's like for someone that is dedicated to what they love, that he can do and you can do to succeed in what you like. With all of these interviews that he goes through, in the scene he looks like he's bored or he doesn't really care about the interviews. But it just goes to show how many interviews there are because he is getting knocks on the door constantly for new sports teams that really want them on their team. All of these relate back to the American dream. His American dream was to play football, and that's what he's trying to do every day constantly for so long throughout his whole career that he has in high school. He shows his best ability in everything he does, and he tries his hardest in school and on the field to show that he is able to do what he wants and he really cares about it. It shows how many people quit on their dreams, but this is a really good example on how somebody can show you how going and pushing yourself far enough to become who you really want to be, that it's possible that you can complete what you really want to do. His American dream was to become a football player, and that's what he got to do, and he's succeeding by showing his full ability on the field to bring how he is as a human and how he is as a player all into one, and he completes it every single day, showing his hardest and everything he can do. At the end, he picks a college that he wants to go to, and it shows when you put your mind to it, you can do anything you want, and you can be just like Michael Oher and how he succeeded in his life and completed his American dream.
Facing different obstacles and overcoming adversity could be one of the toughest things we humans encounter in life. No matter what happens, it's what we do in response to that event that matters. In this film, Michael had the choice of giving up on his life and being a failure, but he didn't let being abandoned by his family and being alone for so long affect him. He went out and had a goal in life, and that was to be in the National Football League. He worked tirelessly and with the support of his family was able to achieve his goal. So the point being, do everything that's in your control to accomplish your dreams and see how the rest plays out.
In the beginning of this scene, it shows Michael getting introduced to his new family. And before all this, he used to just sleep on the couch. But as this movie goes on and the family starts to take him in more, he gets his own room to himself. So me and Michael agreed on the scene that we are choosing. When Michael's mom gives him a bed, it shows in the beginning of the scene that Michael's mom says, "This is what I got you, something nicer." Michael says he hasn't had one before. She proceeds to say, "A room to yourself," and he says, "A bed," showing that Michael's childhood was not as good as most kids these days having their own best childhood. But after that was said, Michael's mom proceeds to walk into her room and sits down, and you can tell that she feels really upset for Michael because of all the things he had to go through with his childhood and how he was homeless for most of his life. The family was still in the process of fully adopting Michael, and Michael getting a room to himself in their own house shows that they are fully comfortable with adopting Michael.
This scene is so powerful because when Michael's new mother introduces him to his new bedroom, the look on his face is so confused. He's never seen anything like this before in his life. Michael then goes and walks to the other room and sees his new mother crying in her room because she is so used to all the kids having their own bed and having a lot of money. But unfortunately, there are many poor kids in communities around the world, and she had never seen a kid like Michael before. This bed is a symbol of life for Michael because he had never had one before, and this brings him to be happier and helps him to be able to go and achieve his goal of making it to the National Football League because his new family gave him life. To wrap up this scene, Michael has found his new family with a lot of money, and he is now living his American dream.